Today, I wanted to continue talking about weight loss. I posted a video yesterday about what I would do if I wanted to lose weight. And it was about fasting, it was about eating one meal a day, it was about reverse dieting, strength training. Those were the strategies that I would use. Nowhere in there did I talk about cardio or more activity or trying to burn calories. It was all on less consumption. If my goal was to lose weight, I would want to do that with dietary purposes. And what's funny is I get this article from Rhonda Patrick at Found My Fitness. I get her emails, and this one actually, I had recorded the video the day that this email was sent, and I posted the video yesterday, but this was on the day that I did it. And so I'm reading and I go, if only I had had this information then, I could have used this as more influence in regard to focusing on diet versus exercise for losing weight. And the big idea that comes in here is about metabolism. So I was talking about metabolism shift with the reverse dieting, how over time your diet shifts, or your metabolism shifts. Well, this is talking about what happens to our metabolism when we become more developed. The whole idea is we become more developed, we have more access to food, we have more access to technology, we don't have to move as much, so we're burning less, and that's why we're fat. Well, this article, what she talks about is, it has very little to do, if not nothing to do, with the reason why we are so much more overweight in developed countries, which I knew. Most people don't know. Most people think that it's because we're not moving as much. But this shows you right here, and I wanted to talk about that. So, again, that idea is, developed countries, we've got cars, we've got technology, we've got, Uber Eats, we don't have to move. The real culprit in our obesity epidemic is the food itself. It's not the lack of activity. Now, here's what it says. Again, Rhonda Patrick, Found My Fitness, great resource. They found that absolute total expenditure, basal energy expenditure, and active energy expenditure were all higher in more economically developed settings, largely because bodies are bigger there. So there was more calorie expenditure because you have a bigger body, you're moving more, okay? But that makes no sense. Wait a second. The people who aren't moving that much are still burning more calories than people who are moving all day long in other countries. How does that make sense? Again, this is because of your body size. Well, let's just take body size out of it, okay? Once you account for body size, total energy expenditure dipped only modestly. So the actual amount of calories that you were burning only dipped modestly, about 6% from least to most developed countries, driven by an 11% decline in basal energy expenditure. Importantly, activity, energy expenditure, and physical activity levels did not significantly change with development. So as you get more developed, these things don't end up changing, okay? In other words, the common narrative that modern populations burn fewer calories because they move less does not hold up. When energy expenditure is, taken into consideration, okay, overall, when you look at the body size, when you take all of that into consideration, you average everything out, there's no change. Now, why would that be? Well, some of that comes to mind in regard to what I said yesterday. If my body's burning calories, my body will say, I can't continue doing this. I have to find ways of lowering my metabolism over time so that I don't burn so many calories that I die. What happens if I don't eat anything? What happens if I go on, if I do extreme exercise, if I do burn calories forever, what's going to happen? I'm going to waste away and die. So we want to find a balance, and your body will force that balance on you. If that means, in my case, I was doing an extreme diet. My example yesterday was I wanted to lose weight by doing one meal a day, by eating maybe 800 to 1,000 calories every day. Fasting, maybe even eating less than that and doing some form of fasting, longer term fasting, 2-3 days, then eating for a day, then taking a longer term. So that will shift my metabolism over time. So if I am in a developed country or an undeveloped country and I'm moving everywhere I go, okay, those calories that I'm expending will be offset in my metabolism so that when I do eat, I will gain that weight and I will store that body fat because I don't have room for error, because I don't know when my next meal is going to be. And that's how our physiology was designed. We don't have to go to the fridge. We don't have to go to the store. We've got calories on us. Calories mean survival. Calories are on us in the form of body fat. So storing is very important for our survival. So if I mess with my metabolism, my body's going, or if I mess with my amount of calories that I consume, if I mess with the amount of calories that I burn, my body is going to shift that metabolism so that I can survive longer. And this just went through the data and just showed, hey, if we take someone who's in an undeveloped world, we take someone in a developed world, we look at all the different levels of developed in between, it's pretty much even, 6%. 6% is not that. You would think that someone in an undeveloped nation would be moving a lot more, would be burning way more calories than someone who's in America who's getting Uber Eats every day and who's working from home. You would think that there would be this 6%. Why? Well, as I get bigger, just having that body mass takes more energy for me to burn. But even if I control for all of those things, what happens? Like I said, if I'm in those undeveloped areas and I'm moving my body, that burn of calories is going to be offset in my metabolism because my body doesn't want to burn calories. It wants to store it, or at least it wants to be in balance. If I'm not in balance, if I'm in a negative, it's going to react negatively. So when I said my example yesterday of if I'm in an extreme diet and I'm not eating enough, I'm going to have to reverse diet because of those changes to my metabolism. So again, these things end up balancing out over time. So what's the big takeaway? It's not about energy burn. It's not about doing more activity. It's about, for me, what I would do is, again, create the stimulus in my body to keep my muscle and my bone and my nervous system tissue. I want to keep those things alive because those are very important, and that's what's going to make me look good, feel good, be strong, and be functional in everyday life. So I strength train. Then I would diet. I would find a way to decrease calories over time. If I went on an extreme diet, 1 meal a day, fasting, long-term fasting, intermittent fasting, or just really eating small amounts of calories throughout the day. So I'm in a huge deficit, let's just say, from my resting metabolic rate. I would then want to reverse diet my way back to a maintenance level because of those changes to my metabolism. So, Found My Fitness, the article, what she had the email as was diet, not less physical activity may be causing the obesity epidemic. If you can look up where, I don't know if you can get that any other way, premium member, things like that. Anyways, Rhonda Patrick, she usually does a video on these things, but it's very interesting to see what is a common misconception that people think, well, it's just because we don't move enough. Movement is great for so many other things. It boosts your mood. It helps with so many other functions in your body, your physical function. But in regard to our metabolism and our weight loss and the weight that we actually have, whether it's you need weight loss or you want to maintain or you want to gain weight, it's about what you're eating. It's not about your activity. And that's why I've made in previous videos, the strategy to lose weight is not burning calories. It's by consuming less. Now, I would add in that caveat that if you are doing some sort of extreme diet, you do want to reverse diet. You want to make sure that you're putting back in. I gave that example for myself. If I wanted to lose, this is what I would do. So that's what I would suggest if you were doing an extreme diet. Why do you gain back more weight than you would if you did an extreme diet, an extreme exercise, or anything extreme? You've seen these people, they lose weight and then they gain it back and then they gain back even more. It's because of those shifts in metabolism. So if your body is like, hey man, you're hurting, we're not getting enough here because you're below your basal metabolic rate. I gave the example of 2,000 calories. If I'm eating 1,000, my body will start to shift that metabolism down to make up for the fact that, hey, this guy's trying to kill me. Even though he's got weight to lose, He doesn't have less than 2,000 calories weight to lose. He still needs 2,000. So again, for this long-term picture, if I want to continue maintaining my normal healthy weight or my goal weight, I don't want to jump right back into that. And I especially don't want to think, I did 6 months of good training, I did 6 months of dieting, I can let it go for a week. You see these people, they gain back the weight. Their metabolism shifts, and then on top of that, they're eating in excess. Then what happens? You gain some weight back, you don't feel as good, and then you let it go off the rails, and all of a sudden in 1 month, you gained everything back. It's a lot easier to gain the weight than it is to lose it. So you've got to stay disciplined if that's your goal. But Ron and Patrick got some really good information out there. Again, it's about what happens with your metabolism and then using that information to say, well, what would I do with that information so that I can get to the goals that I want? So be thinking about that if you're considering, or if you're trying to lose weight, be thinking about what does your body naturally want to do. Again, calories mean survival. Burning calories equals death. When I start messing with those things, bad things start to happen. I can use that to my advantage and I can say, oh, well, if I do this, then that happens. So again, hopefully the information that I shared today can help someone. If not, it's going to help me if I ever, hey, you never know what happens. Things could go off the rails and then, hey, I might need to get them back. And if I was going to, I would be focusing on diet, not exercise, to make sure that I was going to lose the weight. I would be focusing on strength training. That's my form of exercise, but it wouldn't be chaining myself to the treadmill and going on endless walks and runs and doing cardio classes and doing all these different things. I would be focusing on strength training, diet, and then reverse dieting once I got to my goal. That's it for today. Until next time, I'll see you.